What's up, everybody? Back at it again. I gotta say, I went to Thanksgiving yesterday. Went to my mom's house, and now I'm back on sauce. At least it's Coke and not Mountain Dew, though. So whatever. They sent us home with the soda, which is interesting, I guess. I don't know. I got candied yams. I got soda. You guys get to see the side view of my bald head as I'm looking at this. But I'm not wearing a hat for these streams. You know, I will keep wearing a hat for the other streams, but it's just not happening. Playing video games, whatever. Nobody watches this crap anyways. It's just me, the PS5, the sauce. Cheers. Yeah, it was an interesting week again. We're going to see how today goes, because I had a customer. You know, they wouldn't pay me for delivery. It's an interesting little what happened this week with appliances, which is basically what this show has turned into, I guess. But so they wouldn't pay me for delivery, and I'm like, well, come get it then. You know, we're talking about like a 15-minute drive here. You know, and I'm like, well, pay me 20 more bucks for 15 minutes. Right? It's not that big a deal. I'll bring it. Like I told to do 20 more bucks. I'll put the thing in your house. I'll take your old one away. I'll hook it up. I'll make sure it works, right? Like, you know, no big deal. I'm busy. He doesn't want to do it. I'm like, all right, well, come get it then. He can't come get it. I'm like, all right, well, you know, he just basically stopped texting me back. I'm like, well, whatever, man. So then, like, 4 days later, he texts me. He's like, hey, I'll come get it. I'm like, cool, come get it. But I'm busy today, you know, so I had a bunch of stuff lined up. I'm like, I'll be free tomorrow. And he's like, all right, well, can I come at 9 a.m.? And I'm like, well, I have to work. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll be at work at 9 a.m. I'm like, I'll text you when I get off work. He's like, all right, let me know. So I text him when I get off work. I don't hear nothing back. Like about, I don't know, probably 2 hours go by. Now, mind you, in the night before, somebody else had texted me about the same dryer, and they're like, hey, is this available? And so I text them back, and I'm like, well, this dude wants it. I'm like, I'm supposed to be meeting him today, but I do have other ones or whatever. I can come fix yours or whatever. And they stopped texting me back too. Communication is key here, I've noticed, because I think both of these customers could have been better well served if they would have just texted me back. That's it. That's all I need to do. Text me back. So what happens is the first guy never texts me back. So this happens to me all the time, by the way. People will text you and then you'll never hear from them again. They aren't like, well, I found another one or whatever. So basically the way that I work is until the cash is in the hand, nothing's on the table. We're just talking. You know what I mean? So anyways, what happened was the dude didn't text me back, so I told the other person number 2, I said, well, look, this dryer is yours if you want it. Because dude's not texting me back. It's been an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, if you can't text back that fast, sorry. Well, and then, you know what happened is the second person stopped texting me back. I was like, cool. Now I got 2 customers here who aren't texting me back. And I got a dryer, a cheap dryer, cheap and good, you know what I mean? New drum seal. Come and get it. Well, yeah. So now I got 2 customers that aren't texting me back. I got one dryer that they both want. I mean, mind you, I think I have 10 dryers online right now, but they both want this one because it's a whole $50 less than the other ones, like whoop-de-doo. So anyways, finally the second guy, I text him a little more, and I'm like, because he was like, well, if you have another one that's that cheap, let me know. Well, I just happened to have another one that was that cheap that I was just posting that day. So I sent him the link to that after an hour of him not texting me back. And he texted me back immediately. And he's like, oh, well, is that first one still available? And I'm like, yeah. The other guy still hadn't texted me back. It's now like 2 or 3 hours since I texted him. Like, yeah, it's available. He's like, oh, well, I would rather have that one. Can I come get it? And I'm like, well, now it's getting late in the day and I already have a delivery scheduled. And I got to go do this delivery. So what is that little thing up in there? Was that the saved icon or am I near a thing again? Anyways, so I'm like, I got to go do this delivery. Can you get here in this amount of time? And he's like, no, he's going to be 5 minutes late. And I'm like, I'm not playing this game because 5 minutes late usually means about like 10 minutes or 15 minutes late with people because that's the way it is, So I'm like, nope, I can't do that because you're going to make me late. And I don't like or try to ever be late. I need to be on time. So I'm like, well, where do you live? I'm like, and it just so happened he lived on the way to my delivery. So I'm like, cool, well, there's time for me to go drop it off. I'm like, but I can't hang out at your house. I can't install it. I'm not going to charge you for delivery. I'll just bring it to you, drop it off at your front door. Then you figure it out from there and, pay me. So I'm like, do you have cash? And he's like, yeah, I have cash. I'm like, cool. And I actually don't. The problem here is that I'm saying he. I think I was talking to his sister or something. I don't even think he was texting me. This is another thing that I need to talk about at some point. But a lot of times these people, like, their wives will be texting me or whatever, or their sister or their mom or whatever. I don't even know. With this situation, it was like I had one person paying me, but I think the dryer was for their mom. And I think the sister was texting me. I think that's how it was going. So it was like a 3-people communication mess up there. But anyway, so I freaking load up the dryers. And they send me the address. And I'm like, cool. And they're like, what's your ETA? And I'm like, I give them the exact time I'm going to be there. Right? Which at this point is actually like they have about 50 minutes, 50, because I have some other stuff I have to do, and then I'm trying to be in a specific city at a specific time, so I have it all timed out to where I can drop that one off, and then go to the next one, drop that one off, and give me about 10 minutes in case that guy needs me to install his, because I didn't tell him I wouldn't, and then go to the thing that I had to go to. So Thanksgiving dinner, right? So I go to the first customer. So now by the way, the first guy that has been talking to me all week, at some point in there, he texts me back and he's like, can you meet at 6? And I'm like, no, I can't meet at 6. I'm busy. I'm like, maybe tomorrow, dude. He never texts me back. So I just hope he might text me back today and be like, well, can you meet at this time? And I don't have to be like, I sold that dryer. You can come buy this one if you want, but probably not. I'm tired of trying to make deals with you and you never show up, let's get stuff done. I don't want to talk to you all week about this stuff and then you just never show up. Anyways, so I go and deliver the first one and I get there and I asked them if they had cash and they said yeah, and the dude's like, well, do you have change? All I got is 100. So he's had 50 minutes to figure out how to get cash because I asked him if they had cash. While I loaded the dryer, drove it right to his front door, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, no, I don't have change. I didn't have time to prepare for this. I had to load the thing up and drive it over here. You had time to prepare for this. You knew I was coming. You knew it was $80. You knew that I asked you if you had cash. Well, I hope anyways. I don't know if your sister or whoever I was texting communicated all this to you, but this was the communication that needed to be had. And so I was just like, well, no, I don't have change. So I said, well, I got Venmo. Let's try that. So we try that, and it's not working. I don't think that they had their Venmo set up prior, and Venmo's kind of, I don't know if they're all like this, but you kind of got to set it up early or else it doesn't really work. So a lot of times you can receive money just fine immediately. That's what mine's like, but you got to set it up to give money, to send money. You either got to hook your card up to it or hook your bank account up to it. But anyways, so that hadn't been done. They're asking me if I have Zelle or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not getting all these pay apps. I'm going to get one pay app, and that's it. And people just need to deal with cash. That's really the deal, you know. And so I'm like, well, he's got 100. We're sitting there trying to make the Venmo work. Finally, he's just like, you know what? He's like, I'll just give you the 100. And I'm like, well, you have your broken dryer here. That's what I told him. I'm like, stick your broken dryer outside, and I'll come back, and I'll get your broken dryer, and I'll bring you $20 back. You know what I mean? For the difference or whatever. And so he's like, all right. So he gives me the money. No, he didn't say that. He's like, no, just keep the 20. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. So we leave, go to the second one. But the point is, the second one was perfectly fine. I get there, everything that was communicated was exactly as it was. The dude had his old machine outside waiting for me. It was actually better than I thought, because we hadn't communicated whether I was going to help him put it in his house or not. And I asked him, I was like, do you want me to help you put it in, or do you want me to leave it here? He's like, yeah, just leave it here. My sons are coming. They're going to help me put it in. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, give him the spiel, go to Thanksgiving dinner. But, like, it's just interesting how the two types of customers are. Like, that, the second dryer that I sold, and this is why I think I'm going to stop doing these cheap dryers. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but when I do know what the deal is, but when I have these cheap machines, and I have a different experience, I'll say, with the customers than when I have the kind of a little bit, and it's weird, it's not that much more money. It's like $50 difference. But, you know, the second guy, he talked to me down on this dryer. So I had it on there for more, and it's a nicer dryer for what I sell. Okay, so I had it on there for more. He talked me down. Usually when people talk me down, I will work with them. And to be honest with you, I'd post these things for higher than anybody. Like my dryers, if you took my dryer and compared it to another used dryer that was exactly the same, my prices would be way higher. Now there's a reason for that. My dryers are better. They're refurbished. They're not just used. Okay, so they need to be higher priced because they're worth more. They've been gone through by an experienced dryer technician. You know, my washers, I don't really put them up for the same prices I put my dryers for. I'm an expert at dryers. I can fix many dryers. I know what's wrong with them. I know how to fix them when they make certain noises. I know all of it. So, you know, that's what you're paying for. And so, you know, but he talked me down. I let him do it. It was like some of these machines, they're really nice, but they just really don't sell that well, even though they should. They should sell a lot better than they do, really. But yeah, so, but I get there. He's already got his machine out that he wants me to take away, which is nice because what's wrong with it, I can easily fix and flip it again, you know? And so he just wants me to leave his right there, has the cash, perfect amount, cash in hand, goodbye, done, right? Easy. Like, and yeah, I would have put it in, you know? I would have helped him put it in or whatever too, so. But he didn't want that. Perfect. The other people, you know, I'm like telling them, I'm like, look, I can take your machine, you know, but it's like in such a way that they can't even get it out of there. There's like the way that this house was built, or this, like, it was like a duplex. There's like a counter or something in the way on one side. So you have to take the washing machine out before you can get the dryer out because it's stuck in there. Like, it didn't look fully like what I call a landlord special. Like some of these places that I end up in,
My hate has
they're just like straight up. I don't even know why I'm over here. I should probably get a goal on this game. Oh look, there's this guy. I don't know if I beat him. Rift Champion. I guess there is this mission or whatever I'm on. Some of these places I end up in are just like really bad carpentry. You know, like the floor. Oh, there's a fast travel right there. How do I get that thing? The order silo. I should try to do that. But they like, you know, you can tell when like a landlord or like a landlord's nephew or something has built their place for them, you know, has remodeled it. It's like the trim doesn't really all even meet each other. There's like gaps everywhere between the floor and all this stuff. Like, you know, it's just like, it's like good enough basically, right? But it wasn't like that. It was like a fairly nice place, but they just decided, whoever just decided that the countertop there was more important than getting the machine out, which is, you know, it's not that big a deal. I just unhook the washer, move it out of the way, and, you know, put the dryer in and then whatever, but put the dryer in first. Like, it's just, it is just interesting though when people do this stuff. And it, you know, in these smaller places, I guess you got to make your decisions, right? Like, you're not always going to be able to do that stuff exactly like that. So wait, there was one here, and now it's up here. I don't know if I want to do it though, if I just want to go to that. I'm just going to keep going this way. I've already killed all these guys like 3-4 times in the last 2 weeks. I think I'm just going to keep going. Fishing spot. Anyways, though, it's like, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just so hard to deal with people because I'm just like, why don't you guys, like, you know, if you want this dryer, come get it. If you don't want it, then don't. Otherwise, like, I'm just going to sell it to somebody else, basically. Like, that's going to actually communicate or come get it or whatever. You know, the customer that ended up with it, they were going to come get it, but it was just my issue with timing. But if they would have texted me back 2 hours earlier, you know, there would have been no issue there either. Where in the crap is that guy going? I don't understand what's happening with that one. Whatever. You know, it is what it is. You know, what's interesting too is that I've already sold the first guy. I sold a dryer to like 1.5 years ago, or like almost 2 years ago, something like that. So probably his last machine he got from me. And I have some of these customers sometimes that they just end up like repeat customers, and so he kind of knows my deal. You know what I do and how I do it. I can tell from the previous conversation because I keep all the texts. So then when I get called again, you know, because it might be that if somebody called me in like 3 months after getting the machine, I'd probably just go fix theirs and charge them parts or something, you know, do like free labor or something like that. Like, these are used machines, like, you know, I don't have a warranty on the machines. Like, I can't do that. I could obviously have a warranty on some of the parts I put in them at times, but, you know, it is what it is. You're buying an old used machine off of, you know, a Craigslist like site. Like, you can't just expect me to warranty it, but I can work with them on stuff if they let me know. But they gotta let me know. They gotta be like, look, it broke. And I tell everybody that too. I'm like, well, let me know if you have any issues and we can work it out to where I can, you know, come fix it cheap or whatever. So, but that didn't happen.
I do like a nasty.
And then I don't know if he's just too busy or what, but I do have other machines. So if he texts me today, I'll be like, well, look, do you want this one? Because look, I got this sweet one from 1984. It's got a new heat element in it. I'll probably end up having to drop the price on it though, but it's got the wood grain. You know, old cheapo. But you know what's funny too though is like I would use that thing. Even though it's from 84, it's like there's nothing wrong with it. As far as like functionality, even the way it looks, there's a couple little scratches on it, and like the side of it has a rust area, we'll say, right? But capture. Has like a bit of a rust spot on the side for some reason, but it's still really not like, there's like no issues with it whatsoever. And it's the good Whirlpool design or Maytag design, or I don't know if it was like originally Crosley or what, but it's the design that's like, it's still used today. Like they still make these things in basically the same exact design. They changed the heat element a little bit. Like this one has an old style of heat element that's kind of hard to get in and out. They eventually like changed it to where the case of the heat element housing comes with the heat element. This one like slides up in it, and so you have to take the whole heat element housing off, which is kind of a pain. But it was also a pain because it's the first time I've ever done it. After doing it now, I can see it's really not that big a deal. There's like, you have to use a wrench. You know, that's one thing is usually I'm using like a driver, but like an electric screwdriver or whatever, but using a wrench on like a 5/16 screw isn't the funnest, I guess, but it is alright. And then the other thing too is I took it apart too much. Like I didn't really think about how to exactly do it. And then once I had it apart, I saw a way easier way, and you don't even have to actually like take the drum out to change the heat element or whatever. 352. Well, there's mine because I have a shotgun equipped right now. So anyways, it's like whatever. 332. Should I try this one? 332. 352.
Dead, won't you?
Yeah, well, so anyways, the other things that happened this week, I can't remember. What else happened this week? Did I do actually, I don't know if that was this week or not. I did another lady's dryer where her vent tube was clogged. And she had one of these machines it was a new one that checks her for airflow. And basically it kept coding out on her. Like it would just shut down. And so I sold her one that was annoying. And so she didn't like that, so she wanted to return it. And I'm like, well, I can bring you another one, or, you know, whatever. So I brought her another one and her old one back. I was like, well, your old one's working fine here, so that means your vent tube's clogged. And she's like, no, it isn't clogged. I look at it, and I'm like, well, that's not really how this works, but you can't really see where it's clogged, right? And we get there, and first thing we do is we go outside and we look in her vent tube, and there's a bunch of lint stuck in it that we could see. There was even more on the inside that I sucked out with the vacuum and then didn't charge her for. So I was like, well, I ended up selling her a Whirlpool. Hey, it's just like that 1984 machine though. But it's a little nicer than the GE that she had first bought. It doesn't look nicer. That's the thing about these machines is they don't look nicer, but their design is way better. These GE dryers they use like plastic glides as bearings, which is not a big deal. That should be fine. Like all the other bearings are plastic too. On the outside, like the outer part of the bearing is plastic, and so it's not that big a deal. They do wear out sometimes, and they get stuck and then, you know, messed up and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. We just put new ones on. Well, the GE design though, and this still really isn't a big deal, but it is weird. There's no metal. So instead of like having plastic attached to metal, and then eventually you get to metal, because if you eventually get to metal on these things, like a metal drum housing, then what? Then you'll end up with metal on metal grinding, which will bug you to the point to where you'll call somebody to come fix your dryer. Well, guess what GE does? Has a plastic housing, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is better or not, because the plastic housing the drum will just start wearing through the plastic housing, but it never makes any noise. Like, they need to put a metal strip or something in it so that it gets annoying. Since it never gets annoying, eventually it gets to the point to where your clothes just get stuck in the drum, and then you're like, oh, this thing's just, like, I literally had this customer do this. They're like, oh, this thing's just broken. They came and asked me about it, and I went and looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally fix it, no problem. But she was just done with it at that point. She's like, well, I'm not fixing it, I'm getting a new one. And I'm like, all right, well, so I'll throw it on my trailer. Actually, it might have been the one that I sold to that lady. Interesting. So I put a new bearing housing on it, new drum housing, whatever we call it, and new bearings, and it works good. But GE, like, can we put a squeaker in there? Like, your brakes on your car, like, they won't necessarily just squeak on their own. You know how they start squeaking? There's like a little squeaker guy, little piece of metal that's bent over that rubs the rotor when your brakes run down. Oh, is there a radio thing over here? Should I try it? I did the radio thing last time. Anyways, so I ended up sucking the hose out the vent tube so it'll flow better, and it flows a lot better now than it did. And then sold her a dryer that she really didn't need. Hopefully next time she has an issue, she'll text me or call me before trying to figure it out herself, or something. I don't know. That's the type of customer that I want right there, because she's willing to pay. If I would have charged her, she would have paid. If I would have said, "Okay, you got to pay me for sucking out your vent tube," she would have. But I'm trying to do this thing where I'm trying to, like, just get these customers. She's great. She's a great customer. Texts me back perfectly. Her communication is way better, than some people's. It's just, we're talking and it's all working, and then she pays immediately, on time. You know what I mean? It's like perfect. Everything she said she was gonna do, she did. Like, that's what I need. So I need to get people like that.
Do your thing, Four. I've got your back.
Okay, so I don't see like a bubble this time that I have to stay in. Oh, there it is. So there's still a ring that I have to stay in, right?
Bridging the gap!
Okay, just standing there. Hello? Hello? I probably shouldn't be using this. So, I gotta get off the soda. You know what I mean? I'm already back on it. I'm in the sugar. Sorry. Not just the soda, but also the sugar. Boom turret.
coming.
I see a sourpuss!
Much better. I'm so sick of that guy's voice.
There's 27 of those. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing them or not. They're kind of a pain. That dude dropped a bunch of iridium. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice to be able to do a little bit more like diagnosing on these people's machines, because the ones that I did sell that other dryer to, I probably could have just gone in and just fixed their machine. You know, and it would have saved them money. That's the other thing, is I had a customer like that the day before where I was just like, well, look, you could buy this dryer, you know, and we could go swap it out or whatever. Fine. But I said, or I could just come fix yours where it is. Like I tell everybody, and she's like, all right, well. And I'm like, look, the thing is, I'll throw it on the trailer and I'll bring it with me. And then I'll try to fix yours. And if I can't, then we'll swap it out. No big deal. You know what I mean? Like, either way, you're going to get a working dryer that day. So, you know, it's a guarantee. You're not going to have to wait. But I get there, start checking it out. It's the little $2 part, and her vent tube's clogged too. And I'm like, well, it's a rental though this time. So I'm like, well, do you want me to clean it, or do you want to call maintenance? And they're like, oh, we'll just call maintenance. I'm like, cool. Well, your dryer's working. Fixed it. She ended up spending less than she would have on the one she was going to buy. And if she would have bought the one she was going to buy, she would have had the same problem. You know what I mean? Because it was her vent tube that, you know, that was the issue, not the dryer. The dryer was a symptom. The dryer breaking was a symptom of the vent tube, you know. So it's like, and the same thing with the other person, the other lady. I was like, look, you know, no dryer is going to work well. Oh, and that's how I knew it for sure, because I brought hers here and it worked well here. And the one I sold her worked well here, but then she's like, oh, it takes 2 times to dry the clothes. And I'm like, it shouldn't. It didn't here, you know. So I gotta go pee. All the soda just runs through me. Alright, well, maybe we should go finish this mission that we're on or whatever. I don't even know what's going on with this story because I just don't have time to play this game that much. But, oh, I guess I could just jump right off there. What is this? Bounty Smoky Joe. Guess I could go get the Smoky Joe bounty. It's over here somewhere. Oh, there's two of them. Looks like there's one over here too. Or something. Is this the Mangler bounty? Might be the. Oh, there's the Smoky Joe right there. It's that ordnance gun or whatever.
Which saved us tons of trouble.
What happened? The thing's still alive. Alright, disappeared.
As freaking if.
Okay. So yeah, so today I got it. The other thing that happened all week was I just kept getting machines. And then I don't know if I told you guys about I messed this washer up pretty bad. Like, well, okay, so the drum wouldn't come out of the original bearings, which is a problem sometimes. Now, you know, I tried the gentle things and that didn't work. So I had to escalate it to the hammer, you know. But the problem is that I didn't think this happened, but it did. I mushroomed the shaft, banging the drum out. I mean, I was looking at it, and it didn't look mushroomed, but you know, these tight tolerances on the, you know, it's yeah, the you get it all back together, and the motor won't. Like, what is it? The magnet part of the motor won't go on. I don't know what it's called, but it won't go on, and so I tried like grinding the mushroomed part down. I mean, it's barely mushroomed. You can't even see it. Like, it doesn't, like, I can't even see it. There's no hammer marks. I can't even tell that it's mushroomed. The only way I can tell is because that thing won't go back on. So, whatever. So I tried grinding it. I made it worse. It still won't go back on. It's like, well, whatever. So the thing's trash now. Well, I found another one yesterday. The same washer. So I'm going to go through that today and test it. And if it's good, I'm going to clean it up really well and change any parts that need to be changed from the bad one to the good one. Right? And then sell that set, because then that set will finally go away. I might try to sell it to the rental guy. I don't know. I don't know though about him, because he wants like perfect looking machines, and I'm like, well, I don't really. None of my machines are hardly ever like that. I mean, the machines that he bought from me originally were like that, but that was just that rarely happens. But I have two rental guys who have texted me now. And I thought about doing this business where because I know how to get machines cheap or free, to the point that I could go rent them, and I don't know, maybe I should do it, but I just don't know if it's right. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to I'm not saying that it's wrong, and I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying I don't know. Okay, that's what I'm saying. What are all these guys doing? How come? Oh, they're not my enemies. Is this where I'm supposed to be going? No. I don't know what the hell is going on over here. These guys are just drunk. They're just drunk, so they're like, oh, I'm not even fighting with you. Okay, so I gotta go that way, it looks like.
So much for talking this out.
Anyways, so that's nice, because I felt bad that I was going to lose that pair, because it is a nice pair, and I feel like it could bring in some money if I could just get it working right. And if the bearing fix would have worked, it would have been nice. But I mean, it sucks. But now it's gonna be, so it's gonna work. I mean, and I know I could just sell the dryer, but I think with this one, it would be nice to get somebody who, a new move-in, a nice pair, matched pair. That I hardly ever do these, but I'll just post it today if I can get that washer tested, and then I'll stack it up in the corner, because it's probably going to be a little bit more money. It's going to take a little while to sell, I'm sure, but it'll be worth it.
Oh, this is so him. You the moonshiner?
It depends on who's asking.
I found one of your customers over there. She went from sober to, let's see if my ex is still awake, real quick.
Yeah, my stuff will do that to you. Old family recipe. I've been trying to sell it, but none of the folks around here can hold their liquor for nothing. No, what I need is a pappy's helper. The old man's miracle cure takes you from tipsy to tip-top in no time. Got the recipe right here. Mind helping me whip one up?
Being around drunks really wipes me out, but you seem crotchety. I love crotchety. I'm in.
I knew you was all right. Now, first things first is finding fruit on those cliffs over yonder.
I should probably start selling parts too on eBay, because I had a circuit board that I needed for a dryer.
I ain't never had much use for the pappy's helper myself, but Grandpappy used to make it for our weak-livered northern kin.
Why don't you make it weaker? You'd sell more that way.
What? And disrespect my heritage?
But
See, now some of those seeds got real thin shells on them, but I need one that's good and sturdy. Wait, did I mention the seeds grow inside a special fruit that only grows on cliff sides, and that the local fauna love this fruit enough to kill them that tries to take it? No?
We're coming to get ya!
Thanks for clearing the airwaves for me, horse.
yeah, so hopefully I can get that done today. And then I have a Samsung pair too, but I didn't even text him that pair because I'm like, well, it has dents in it. The GE pair that I thought he was gonna get, I'm glad he didn't, because I text him and I'm like, it's ready, and then it started squeaking. So I was like, well, crap, because I don't want to sell him anything that's gonna break soon. Like if I sell somebody else something that's gonna break soon, then I don't know what that is, but I guess I need it. I can go fix it, but I can
All
put.
right, future VH, time for an RJ anthropology lesson. Fade Fields edition. I'll bet you want to get off Kairos, huh? Everybody does. But the locals in the Fade Fields really want out. So much so that they even call themselves the Outbounders. The Outbounder crew basically lives to scrap. Mostly by scavenging for parts they can use to build a spaceship and blast off this rock. But they're also pretty slick at scrapping with the Order, guerrilla style. That makes them sound kind of intense, but they're actually the chillest people on Kairos. Especially their leader, Rush, who's basically a human ray of sunshine. A ray of sunshine that could crush your skull in his bare hands, but still. The sad truth, though, is that no matter how many ships the Outbounders build, they aren't getting past the Order's orbital defenses. But that's where heroes like us come in, right? Kill the Timekeeper, free the Outbounders, and everyone on Kairos.
So, yeah, what was I talking about? I can't even remember. But yeah, so the Samsung pair, that one would be good too. I think, so the GE that was squeaking. So I put it in the ad, it was squeaking. I dropped the price way down. I basically just sold the it's a working washer. It barely squeaks. Okay, like barely. Like it still has time, but it's gonna need a new transmission at some point. So I told the guy, even when he got there, I told him, I'm like, look, it squeaks. I'm like, he's like, it's just a good deal. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But here's why. Because you're basically getting the washer for free. I mean, like I was going to try to pair them. I was like, I basically made the decision instead of just scrapping the washer, which is what I was going to do. I was just going to junk it because of that. It's like instead of doing that, I decided to just let you have it if you want it, and you can use it till it dies, basically. And it still has a lot of use in it. The squeak was like you had to really even listen to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a constant big loud thing, but it's just the way it goes sometimes, And I put money into that machine too. I bought parts for it. It's funny, I bought a door lock switch, so that's what it was. It wasn't even working. And sometimes this is the way it goes. You can't hear those squeaks. Since it was so slight, you can't hear it until you get the machine working. Well, I didn't just have a door lock switch hanging out, so I had to get one, and so I got one, and then I start testing it, and it's got this little tiny little squeak in it. And then later that week, after I sold it, I did see a video of somebody I watched, because I've been watching appliance techs work on machines just to get more experience. And he had one that needed a new transmission. And it was the exact same squeak. So the problem is I think those transmissions are like, $200 or $300.
There you go, see? Nothing to it. But yeah, that one's far from fresh. No good for my purposes. Find me another.
And I can't sell that machine for that much. So what's up with all those lines in it? Does that mean I'm in the area? I think that just means I'm in the area. Look at this though. Yeah, anyways. So, he's going to be able to use it for a while though. Even though it's squeaking, it'll stop squeaking eventually, I think. It'll get worse eventually, but I don't know exactly when. Do I go get those? I think I'm gonna have to.
Don't look now.
Saw one fall over here, but there it is.
You
There's
would
one.
not
Oh,
feel
nice,
safe
I got it.
protein in these bad boys. As full of the stuff as Conway is of sass. Easy.
So now we can get some more contracts. It looks like there's a little area over here. Water shop area discovered. Anyway, so I ate a lot of food last night, and somehow I'm still hungry. There's a bunch of guys over here to kill.
Oh my God, great. That's ridiculous. Resistance has been revoked.
So I'll get those pairs up and on the market, and then I have about like 4 or 5 dryers that I haven't even touched yet. And then there's, you know, the washer that I got for that pair. It also came with a dryer that's bad. Got a bad bearing or something or thump to it that I gotta go and then see. I had that GE pair that I sold to that guy. The dryer was like I put new bearings on it and put it back together and started testing it and it started thumping. And I was like, how can this thing be thumping? Like all the bearings are new, all of them. Like, you know, and it went well. There's nothing weird in there. And then I go look at it, and the side is bent in a little. So just the side of your dryer can be bent in a little. And then as the thing turned, like the screws for the fins or something was just touching the side of the case every time it turned. So it just would like tunk, 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 you know, like every time the drum turned to a certain point. So I like just hit the drum to the side, and it like pushed the side of the case out enough. It stopped doing it. I was like, you know, that could be what the deal is with this other GE, because it's a GE too. Maybe this side is just bent in a little to where it's touching the drum every revolution, you know. Sometimes these things, like I've had it to where there's been like a screw or something stuck in the drum seal, and then every time it goes around it rubs that screw. Or, you know, like there was like a paper clip in one time, or a safety pin or something, and it basically just was making this like screeching metal on metal noise, but I just like pulled it out and put it back together, and it's good, you know. But sometimes these fixes aren't what you would think. Like you really have to look for things and really, you know, yeah, it's not all easy. And it's like, you know, how do you predict that? You might only have that once, you know. It's just, yeah, sometimes it's difficult. Or there's this one I had where there was like a speck of dust. Like, I don't know how this happened, okay, but these dryers use thermistors to figure out how hot the air is, to figure out when to turn the heater on and whatnot. Well, they measure resistance on a thermistor, and basically, like, there's a little chip, you know, that is going to be responsible for measuring the resistance or whatever, and it like the input for the thermistor on the chip on the circuit board had a little tiny piece of dirt on it. And this took me, I was really trying to make this machine work, because like it was just, I really wanted to learn what was wrong with it, because everything tested good. We tested the circuit board. Like I tested everything. The circuit board, and then it would heat sometimes, and then it would just not. And like, really, probably what I would do today is try to buy a new circuit board, and that also would have worked. But eventually, I got to looking at the circuit board, and I eventually tracked down the pins for that chip, for the thermistor, the inputs, because I was measuring the thermistor at the thermistor, and it was measuring good, you know. And then but I think I even measured it on the harness, and the harness was to test the harness, and the harness was good. And I'm like, well, what about on the circuit board? And then I look down, and I see this little piece of dirt on the circuit board, and it was throwing the measurement off enough that this dryer wasn't working. Isn't that crazy? And so I just flicked the little piece of dirt off, and then the dryer worked fine after that. Perfectly fine after that, no issues. So it's like just that little piece of dirt was like going across two pins, shorting out these two pins enough, not enough to blow the circuit out, you know, but enough to throw off the thermistor reading. And it took me like a month on that. I spent a long time on that dryer, a lot of time on that dryer. I probably didn't even sell it for, I probably made 50 cents an hour working on that thing. So there you go. You know, you just never know. Sometimes it can be the simplest stuff. Sometimes it's just straight up bearings. A lot of times it's just, if it's making noises, put new bearings in it and you're good. The noises go away, you know. It's pretty simple. But yeah. Alright, well, I got distracted again and didn't go do the mission I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna have to stop and go edit videos because gotta keep that thing going. I think I'm up to 93 subscribers on my other channel, though, my appliance channel, which is good. It just keeps going up. So, you know, every time or every week I get like 5 more or whatever. So pretty sure soon, hopefully it'll start to grow to like 10 more every week. You know, I'm starting to get views on the long videos, which is nice because, you know, I was a little worried about that. I'm doing shorts, and the shorts are pulling people in. But, you know, I want the long videos to kind of pull people in. Or, you know, I'd rather people watch the long videos because I think you make more money on them. And really, the short videos, there's not enough time for me to edit in the required information for, you know, what I'm doing. So, I don't know. Alright, well, I don't know. I'm gonna quit. So, whatever. Thanks for watching. Listen to me rant about my week with appliances. I'm sure I'll have another good week this week. Maybe if there's time later, I'll come play again. I don't know.